In a recent session of Prime Minister's Questions, Keir Starmer faced intense scrutiny from Badenoch, the leader of the opposition, regarding the government's controversial Children's Wellbeing and Schools Bill. This moment in Parliament highlighted the ongoing debates surrounding educational reform in the UK, and brought to the forefront critical questions about the direction of the country's educational policies. The Children's Wellbeing and Schools Bill has been a focal point in discussions about educational reform. As it makes its way through Parliament, differing opinions on its implications are emerging. Supporters argue that the bill is essential for safeguarding children and ensuring their welfare within the educational system. Detractors, however, criticize it as a misguided attempt at reform that could undermine the quality of education and the role of educators. Badenoch, in her critique of the bill, labeled it educational vandalism, suggesting that the proposed changes could have detrimental effects on the educational landscape. Her remarks reflect a broader concern among critics regarding the potential erosion of educational standards and the influence of trade unions on educational policy. By accusing the government of allowing trade unions to dominate the education department, Badenoch aims to draw attention to what she perceives as a misalignment between government priorities and the needs of students. In response to Badenoch's allegations, Starmer stood firm in his defense of the Children's Wellbeing and Schools Bill. He emphasized the bill's primary objective: to protect children from harm and to address the tragic circumstances surrounding the death of 10-year-old Sarah Sharif. Starmer pointed out that Sarah had been taken out of school just 4 months before her untimely death, underscoring the importance of keeping children in educational environments where they can be monitored and supported. Starmer asserted that the bill would implement measures to prevent abusers from removing children from schools, thereby ensuring that children remain safe and engaged in their education. This point resonates with many parents and guardians who are deeply concerned about the safety and well-being of their children in an increasingly complex world. The Children's Wellbeing in Schools Bill includes several key provisions that aim to enhance the educational experience for children across the UK. Among these provisions, the establishment of breakfast clubs is particularly noteworthy. These clubs are designed to provide children with a healthy meal at the start of the school day, which can positively impact their concentration and overall academic performance. Additionally, the bill seeks to address the financial burdens associated with school uniforms. By limiting the costs associated with uniforms, the government aims to alleviate some of the economic pressures faced by families, particularly those from lower-income backgrounds. This initiative reflects a growing awareness of the importance of equity in education, ensuring that all children have access to the same opportunities regardless of their socio-economic status. The discussions around the Children's Wellbeing and Schools Bill are indicative of broader trends in educational reform within the UK. As the government grapples with various challenges, including funding constraints and shifting societal needs, the role of education in shaping future generations becomes increasingly critical. Educational reform is not merely about implementing new policies. It involves a re-evaluation of the values and priorities that underpin the educational system. As debates continue, it is essential to consider the implications of proposed changes on students, educators, and the wider community. Badenoch's criticisms of trade unions reflect a long-standing tension between government policies and the interests of educators. Trade unions play a crucial role in advocating for the rights and welfare of teachers and educational staff. They ensure that educators have a voice in discussions about policy changes, working conditions, and professional development. However, the influence of trade unions can sometimes be perceived as a barrier to reform. Critics argue that union priorities may not always align with the best interests of students, leading to calls for a re-evaluation of their role in the educational landscape. This debate raises important questions about how to balance the needs of educators with the imperative to provide high-quality education for all students. One of the critical aspects of the Children's Wellbeing in Schools Bill is its focus on the emotional and psychological well-being of students. The recognition that mental health is an integral component of a child's educational experience is a positive development in educational policy. As mental health issues among young people continue to rise, schools play a vital role in providing support and resources. The bill's provisions for mental health support can help address the growing concerns about student well-being. By integrating mental health services into the educational framework, The government acknowledges the importance of creating a supportive environment where students can thrive academically and emotionally. Successful educational reform cannot occur in isolation. Community involvement is paramount in ensuring that policies effectively address the unique needs of students and families. Engaging parents, local organizations, and community leaders in discussions about educational reform can provide valuable insights and foster a sense of ownership over the educational process. The Children's Well-Being in Schools Bill presents an opportunity for community engagement. By involving stakeholders in the implementation of the bill, the government can create a more inclusive approach that reflects the diverse needs of students across the UK. As the bill moves through Parliament, addressing the concerns raised by opposition leaders like Keir Badenoch will be crucial. Constructive dialogue between government officials and opposition members can lead to a more collaborative approach to educational reform. By listening to differing viewpoints and engaging in meaningful discussions, policymakers can refine and improve proposed legislation. Starmer's defense of the bill should not only focus on its merits, but also acknowledge the valid concerns raised by critics. This approach can help build consensus and foster a sense of shared responsibility for the future of education in the UK. The ongoing debate surrounding the children's well-being in schools bill underscores the importance of evidence-based policymaking in education. Decisions regarding educational reform should be informed by research and data that highlight the needs of students and the effectiveness of proposed interventions. As the government navigates the complexities of educational policy, it is essential to prioritize strategies that have been proven to support student learning and well-being. By grounding decisions in empirical evidence, policymakers can create a more effective and responsive educational system. The discussion sparked by the Children's Well-Being in Schools bill may serve as a turning point for educational policy in the UK. As the government continues to grapple with the challenges facing the education system, it must remain committed to prioritizing the needs of students and ensuring their safety and well-being. Looking ahead, it is crucial for the government to remain open to feedback from educators, parents. As the debate over the Children's Well-Being in Schools bill unfolds, it becomes increasingly evident that engaging a wide array of stakeholders is essential for successful implementation and acceptance of the proposed reforms. Stakeholders include not only government officials and educators but also parents, students, community organizations, and mental health professionals. Each group brings unique perspectives and insights that can inform and enrich the legislative process. Parents and guardians are often the most invested stakeholders in their children's education. Their first-hand experiences with the education system provide invaluable insights into its strengths and weaknesses. Engaging parents in discussions about educational reform can help ensure that policies are responsive to the actual needs of families. 1. Parent Advisory Committees. Establishing parent advisory committees can facilitate ongoing communication between school boards and families. These committees can provide feedback on proposed policies, share concerns, and offer suggestions for improvement. 2. Workshops and forums. Hosting workshops and community forums can empower parents to voice their opinions on educational issues. This engagement not only fosters a sense of community, but also encourages collaborative problem-solving. 3. Parent education programs. Offering education programs for parents on navigating the school system, understanding educational policies, and advocating for their children can enhance parental involvement and support positive outcomes. Students themselves are often left out of discussions about policies that directly affect their lives. However, their perspectives are crucial for creating an educational environment that truly meets their needs. 1. Student councils and advocacy groups. Establishing student councils can provide a formal mechanism for students to voice their opinions and advocate for changes within their schools. These councils can serve as a bridge between students and school administration, ensuring that student concerns are heard. 2. Surveys and feedback mechanisms. Regularly conducting surveys that solicit student feedback on various aspects of their education can provide valuable data for policymakers. Understanding student experiences and challenges can lead to more effective reforms. 3. Incorporating student input in curriculum development. Involving students in the curriculum development process can enrich educational content and ensure that it resonates with their interests and needs. This engagement promotes a sense of ownership over their education. Community organizations play a vital role in supporting students and families, particularly those from disadvantaged backgrounds. Collaborating with these organizations can enhance the effectiveness of educational reforms. 1. Partnerships with nonprofits. Building partnerships with local nonprofits focused on education, youth development, and mental health can provide additional resources and support for schools. These organizations can offer after-school programs, tutoring, and mental health services that complement the school experience. 2. Community-based learning initiatives. Developing community-based learning initiatives that connect students with local businesses and organizations can provide real-world experiences and enhance their educational journey. Such programs can foster a sense of community and help students understand the relevance of their education. 3. Shared resources and facilities. Schools can collaborate with community centers, libraries, and recreational facilities to share resources and facilities. This collaboration can enhance access to educational opportunities and extracurricular activities for students and families. Given the increasing focus on mental health and well-being in the Children's Well-Being in Schools Bill, the involvement of mental health professionals is crucial. Their expertise can help shape effective policies and practices that prioritize the emotional and psychological well-being of students. 1. Integrating mental health services in schools. Schools can benefit from having mental health professionals on staff who can provide counseling and support to students. This integration ensures that students have access to necessary services within their educational environment. 2. Training for educators. Providing training for educators on recognizing and addressing mental health issues can create a more supportive environment for students. Educators equipped with this knowledge can identify at-risk students and refer them to appropriate services. 3. Promoting mental health awareness. Implementing programs that promote mental health awareness among students and staff can help destigmatize mental health issues. These initiatives can encourage open discussions about mental health and create a culture of support within schools. While the Children's Well-Being in Schools Bill aims to enhance the educational experience for children, it is essential to address the concerns raised by opponents like Keir Starmer. Engaging in constructive dialogue can lead to improvements in the bill and foster greater support from various stakeholders. 1. Understanding opposition perspectives. Recognizing the validity of concerns raised by critics can foster a more collaborative approach to policy development. By understanding the motivations behind opposition arguments, policymakers can better address the underlying issues. 2. Open forums for discussion. Hosting open forums where critics can voice their concerns and suggest alternatives can promote transparency and trust. These discussions can lead to valuable insights that inform the legislative process. 3. Compromise and adaptation. Policymakers should be open to modifying the bill in response to legitimate concerns. Compromise can lead to more balanced policies that take into account the diverse needs of students, educators, and families. 1. Research and data analysis. Utilizing research and data to assess the potential impacts of the bill can help address concerns about its effectiveness. Conducting impact assessments can provide evidence to support proposed changes and reassure stakeholders. 2. Pilot programs. Implementing pilot programs to test specific provisions of the bill can provide valuable insights into their effectiveness. Feedback from these programs can inform broader implementation strategies. 3. Continuous evaluation. Establishing mechanisms for ongoing evaluation and feedback can help ensure that the bill remains dynamic and responsive to changing needs. Regular assessments can identify areas for improvement and inform future policy decisions. The discussions surrounding the Children's Well-Being in Schools Bill highlight the importance of adopting a holistic approach to educational reform. This involves recognizing that education is interconnected with various social, emotional, and economic factors. 1. Addressing socioeconomic disparities. Effective educational reform must consider the impact of socioeconomic disparities on students' educational experiences. Measures that provide additional support for disadvantaged students, such as free breakfast programs and affordable school uniforms, are crucial. 2. Promoting inclusivity. A holistic approach also involves promoting inclusivity within the educational system. This includes ensuring that students from diverse backgrounds, including those with disabilities or special needs, receive the support and resources they require to succeed. 3. Emphasizing lifelong learning. Education should be viewed as a lifelong journey.